Okay, we left off in the middle of the disorders and we're picking up now with a third one. Sleep apnea is characterized by the intermittent stopping of breathing followed by snorting and or gasping. Now, the first person to suspect sleep apnea is not usually the person who has it. Who do you think it is? You might have guessed it's their sleeping partner. But it really can disturb both persons' quality of sleep by reducing the deep sleep and the REM sleep they get, the most important kinds. A friend of mine is the dean of a college, and he recently got diagnosed and was prescribed a sleeping machine for sleep apnea. It took him a week to get used to it, but when I Skyped with him yesterday, he claimed that he had gotten the first good night of sleep he has had since 2012. Hey. Now, have you ever gotten kicked by a sleeping person or watched your pet twitch while it was dreaming? What's that all about? The fourth disorder we're going to cover, sleep disorder, is REM behavior disorder. REM behavior disorder can cause injury to the dreamer and others in the environment. During REM, when your dreaming occurs, remember that two neurotransmitters, chemicals, are released in your brain, and they work in concert to block messages traveling to your muscles out of the brain. Remember, on those efferent fibers, but it blocks them at the brainstem long before they arrive at the muscles. Thus, they paralyze the muscles, right? In effect. The sensory messages still enter the brain. You get visual, auditory, tactile, even gustatory and olfactory messages at times. But while the motor cortex is very active, the motor messages do not leave the brain and travel to the muscles. They're actually blocked at the brainstem. Thus, people do not generally act out their dreams unless they have REM behavior disorder, which results from the lack of these chemicals being released or low levels of them being released. By the way, the recent Canadian discovery of these neurochemicals, which, by the way, are GABA, remember GABA aminobutyric acid, and glycine is the second one. This discovery may also help us to better understand other neurodegenerative diseases, for instance, Parkinson's disease, because 80% of people who have REM behavior disorder later in life develop a neurodegenerative disease such as Parkinson's. So what are your dreams like? Well, dreams are actually very story-like. They're story-like in that they generally star you, right? And co-star mostly familiar other people. Though sometimes strangers, mostly familiar others. They tend to feature something called day residue, stuff that just happened to you that day. It might be a phrase you heard, it might be something you tasted, it might be something you saw. It may seem that your dreams are mostly bizarre because those are usually the ones we remember, but most by far are really, really mundane. When a really exciting dream occurs, the most common themes tend to be one of three. One is the romantic thriller, two, the adventure flick, and three, the horror flick. Usually you're being pursued in some way. Now, why do we dream? Let's look at the three most prominent theories of dreaming, starting with our next segment.